Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Need more energy throughout the day? Looking for a kick to your workout? RockinThatIDLife.com has you covered with delicious flavors you've grown to love in tropical fruit and mixed berry, but now fall in love with the new fruit punch and orange flavors. Try them all at RockinThatIDLife.com.
Realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage LLC makes the moving process easier. Work with a realtor who plays and studies the game and will work as hard as the boys on the ice to get you the best deal. Check out Mike on the web at strikewithmike.com and jumpstart your move today. That's strikewithmike.com.
Welcome to episode 30 of season 11. This is episode number 406 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. Canadians are always dreaming up a lot of ways to ruin our lives. The metric system, for the love of God, Celsius, Neil Young. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Bill, that intro was for you.
And that's what I appreciate about you.
That's what I appreciate about you. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIDLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out when you can. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for some well-designed and fairly priced blues-themed t-shirts. It's Wednesday, March 29th. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all social channels is LGB Radio. Just search for us and you'll find us. If you haven't already done so, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, buy a t-shirt from our shop, put an ad in your local newspaper, or do whatever you can to help us out. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by the effervescent Bill Day, and producer Austin is lurking in the background somewhere. Kurt Price will hopefully be joining us later. The agenda for tonight includes discussion about the Blues knocking off Vancouver, how good the new acquisitions for the Blues have been, the NHL considering changing up Pride Nights, all that and more on this delightfully scrumptious episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Mr. Bill Day is in the house. How you doing, sir?
Oh, well, it's been a day. It wasn't too bad of a recovery after last night. We didn't go too hard at it, but it was real fun to be at the game last night. And today was just another day at work. So,
yeah, it was
so much better than work.
Yes, they are. It was a rough day, a rough start to the day for me too. Because like you said, we didn't go hard. We didn't, we weren't out till 2 a.m. or anything last night. But I don't know, just not having my normal evening and then waking up and having to work. It's just an odd feeling to wake up and be like, it wasn't the weekend, and it just kind of brings you down. But yeah, last night we mentioned it on social media, but you brought it up, Mr. Producer Austin, who I'll bring on screen here in a minute. Let's just do it now. He looks ready. His shirt's back on. Bring it down to the bottom. That's where you belong, son. So we actually went to the Blues game, all four of us last night. First time ever that the entire crew, whatever iteration it was of Let's Go Blues Radio, was able to actually attend a game all together. So that was exciting. Thanks, Austin, for bringing us on board.
Yeah, of course. It was a blast. Had a lot of fun, and bringing home a winner was even better. So,
I mean, not the way you want to win games, but we'll take the win.
Not at all.
Yeah, and
I would preferred an overtime loss.
I would have preferred an overtime loss. I said it when the Blues were up 5-2. I said this game's going to overtime. You know it, and it happened.
Yeah, you were really excited when they scored.
Yeah, I mean, 5-2. You expect to walk out with a regulation win. That was pretty bad, but whatever. I mean, overtime hockey is exciting. We only got 22 seconds of it, so I'm not going to complain too much. But yeah, should have been wrapped up after the second period.
Definitely should have.
We'll get to that more in a minute. But we want to say with last night, we met some pretty cool people sitting by us. Actually, was not their seats. I don't know if you guys caught that conversation. They had moved down a couple spots and sat next to us because the seats were open. Brendan was the gentleman we talked to a lot last night. He said he might try to tune in tonight, catch us. So, Brendan, if you're listening, it was nice meeting you, your lovely wife. I believe one of those gentlemen with you was your brother. The other one was a friend. Maybe the brother's friend. I don't know. Not judging. But yeah, a lot of fun meeting that crew and had a good time with everyone last night.
It was awesome.
Especially the guy that photobombed us.
Yeah. Yeah. Got photobombed by an old dude. And it was like he knew what he was doing. He's done it before.
He's been there before, for sure. I could definitely sense that. We got a couple comments coming in. Matt Harris says, and it's my birthday. But I don't know if you saw later, he did say it's not actually my birthday.
I was going to say, because we celebrated his birthday with him not too long ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, it's his birthday because we started before 9:30.
Yeah, that's the joke. He said it's like Christmas because we didn't start at 9:30. But notice who's
what time is it?
It's 9:28. And notice who's not here. And notice what time we started. That's all I'll say.
Poor Kurt.
And then, Matt Harris adds, my shirt came in a couple days ago. Very nice quality. That's awesome. Which shirt did you order, Matt? I don't remember. I think you might have told us, but I can't remember which one it was.
Kurt's kids, they take great care at, crafting those things.
Yeah. Yes.
Stitch by stitch.
Zoe does a great job. Oh, your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Before you ask, I do know what that's from.
All right.
You ask. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Muppet Show. Yeah.
No?
Oh, okay. Let's see. We got we got a lot of comments coming in here. Ken Morris, Bill Day, the real deal Bill Day, or just a reasonable facsimile?
Tonight is a reasonable facsimile.
Yeah.
Facsimile.
And Ken Morris also says, nice photo of your four lads on Instagram at last night's game. Yeah, we actually all looked pretty good in that picture. I was pretty impressed. Good work, guys.
Yeah.
You got the angles right.
Yeah, I did. I played the angle. Let's see. Matt says he got the beer bottle one. The one that my hockey team makes me drink, I believe is that one. So yeah, awesome. Glad you got it. That's a great shirt. So official beers of episode number 406. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Kurt Price is at CPrice12. You can find me at JPonner94. Bill Day is at Billy Blue Note 33. Austin's not on there because he's a young man. So I'm confused. Who goes first tonight now?
That's a good question.
I'll go first.
Bill.
Yeah, as long as it's not Bud Light Orange, I'll let you go first.
All right, it is not Bud Light Orange. I'm drinking a show favorite tonight, just because honestly I don't have a lot of beer left in my fridge. I'm having a Fat Elvis from Absence of Light. This was my last one that I found, and I was gonna hold on to it until like midsummer, but I'm like, I gotta have it tonight. I had this and Coors Light in my fridge, so I'm like, I gotta do the Fat Elvis.
Nice. So, I still have one of those out in the garage fridge. So,
yep. Maybe I mean, every now and then I've been able to still find some at like Schnucks or Deerberg. So maybe I'll find another 4-pack before the season's off. Bill,
I think I had this on here a couple of weeks ago. Boulevard, our friends from Cross State, Churro Grande. Imperial brown ale with cinnamon and natural flavors. It's really good. Nice sweet beer, dessertish kind of beer, which is typically what I drink on this show. So
true. Austin, I saw what you were rocking. What are you rocking tonight?
Water.
Yeah, let's see it.
Straight from the jug, even.
Yeah. Yep, I love it. Yeah, well, you said you're working on making sure you drink a gallon of
I need to be
water.
drinking more water, yeah. So
so that's a good call. Just fill up a gallon, drink it throughout the day. I like it.
It's a good
All
It's
right.
responsible.
Well, yes, you are a responsible young man.
Responsible adult.
By the way, before we kick Austin out of here and put him in the back, we're all wearing City stuff tonight, as well as I know, Austin, you're wearing the Cardinals hat with me as well. So
Yeah.
we're supporting the other teams here in St. Louis. And, man, how about that City? 5-0.
5-0.
Let's just turn this show into City Talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Soccer capital.
I think that's taken
Maybe.
by some douchebags in Kansas City.
No.
Yeah, that's that Kraus kid is just, I say kid. He's a grown man. He's played phenomenal.
No, he's only 26. He
Is
looks like he's 52, but he's only 26.
Is this an Albert Pujols situation? Do we need to
It very well might
Test
be.
the man.
Yeah. No, that's he's been phenomenal. My wife's a big Roman Berkey fan, which I am too. He made a ridiculous save in that first half that I mean, he doesn't make that save, it's a completely different game.
Right at halftime. This team seems to swing the momentum at right before half. You know, the previous games, goals right before half. This time, Berkey with just a fucking incredible save, putting that, getting the glove on it, and oh man, I just absolutely love that guy.
Yeah, it's funny, and my wife played soccer growing up, played through college. When I met her, she was still playing. So she's given me a lot of the lowdown on soccer that I haven't gotten from Bill, and I feel like I understand it pretty well. And Bill, maybe you'll laugh here, maybe you'll even have some insight. One thing that actually, Bill, you will have insight here. One thing I just can't understand is penalty kicks. How goalies literally just guess. They just have to guess where the guy's going to kick the ball. I relate that to hockey and say you can read where the puck's coming off the stick. And I know it sounds ridiculous, and I even told my wife, I'm not saying she's wrong and that all soccer goalies in history are wrong, but I just don't understand how you can't read a little bit off the foot where the ball's going. I told her we need to go out to a soccer field, have me play goal, and have her take penalty kicks on me. I think that's the only way I can understand that.
No, because of the set distance between the spot and the keeper can't cross the line. They can't come off the line prior to the kick. There is not enough time to react. Right, you can react if you've guessed correctly, is basically what it comes down to. And some of the best saves you'll ever see are guys that guessed correctly and overshot their spot, but still managed to get a leg on the ball.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I told her. I think the only way I'm going to fully understand is if we go out and do it. I think, and I told her, I'm like, you're going to make me look stupid. Like, if there's people watching, they're going to laugh because I'm not going to make one save. But I think I need to see it so I can fully understand, okay, yeah, you can't read it coming off the foot from that distance. Cool. Well, you gave me some good insight there. Thank you, Bill. That's what you're here for.
Hey, I like to bring one thing per show, so I'm quota satisfied.
Bill, I know you're not a huge Cardinals guy, but Austin, I know you follow the team. I do as well. So big opening day tomorrow here in St. Louis, which is pretty awesome. You going down for any festivities, or you plan on going to Chicago for the Blues Blackhawks game?
I want to go so bad.
We all do,
but I don't have the money or the gas.
Yeah, I was telling you guys last night. I'm kind of torn. This is my only opportunity the rest of the season to get up to Chicago and see a Blues Blackhawks game. Never step foot in United Center, and I have concert tickets there this summer. And it's part of just doesn't feel right that my first event there is going to be a Cure show rather than Blues Blackhawks. Totally different vibes.
It'll still be cool, and you won't want to punch somebody for being a stupid Blackhawks fan. So that'll be the positive.
Oh, I probably still will, but
yeah, maybe. No, that yeah, and I'll echo Ken Morris here. Always appreciate Mr. Day's perspective of the game from a goalie's point of view. That was soccer perspective. That was a soccer goalie. How about that? That's something you're not getting from two guys, one cup.
Yeah, and I'll try to give you a little bit of that when we get into last night's game, because I'll tell you what, Thatcher Demko, man, he's something else, and he also confuses me very much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Yep. So Austin, again, thanks for taking us to the game last night. Great hanging out with you. Great having you here tonight as well. So we give you a lot of trouble, but it was really awesome of you to take us to the game last night. That was a blast.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys all had fun. I'm glad they've won a game.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
All right,
Apart
Austin,
from
we'll
that,
catch you later.
I'm glad too.
Yeah.
Right.
See you, buddy. So we still got Austin in the background here, but Bill and I are going to talk about last night's big Blues game, big Blues win over the Vancouver Canucks, 6-5, an OT Tuesday night. They won, and we again. I just said it, Vancouver, how we always say it, because of Ivan Harachka. How many times do you think we all said that last night?
It was probably closing in on triple digits. We were annoying.
Yes, we were. Yeah. Imagine us on this show basically being the same people we are at the game, but then also every time Vancouver gets the puck, one of us goes, Vancouver! Yes, very annoying. So again, the entire crew was there last night, thanks to Austin. Jordan Binnington gets the start after a relief appearance on Sunday night that saw him give up 2 goals on 14 shots in that wild LA game that Joel Hofer had started and been sent down, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Vancouver gets on the board first here. Quinn Hughes opens the scoring after rushing the puck in and sliding it to JT Miller, who found Brock Besser on the far wall. One time the puck, Binnington kicked it out, but kicked it right to Quinn Hughes on the far side, and he gave him a wide open net to shoot out as I felt, and Bill, correct me if you like, I felt Binnington really overcommitted on this goal. Gave him a nice big, wide open, gaping net to shoot at, and Quinn Hughes makes it 1-0.
Yeah, not going to get a disagreement from me on that. I thought even in his relief appearance against LA, he was a little too slide happy, getting himself out of position, and it seems to be that way. He's played the majority of the games this year. Grice might have had a couple game stretch, if I remember correctly, where he started back to back. But last year with Husso, if Husso went on a heater, when Binnington got back in the crease, he had that tendency to just slide a little too much. And I think the couple games he got off due to suspension, and then let's see what the kids got, might have got him a little rusty, and hopefully it's something he'll correct. But yeah, absolutely overcommitted on the Besser shot, and like you said, the rebound went right to Quinn Hughes, who had like it must have seemed like a soccer net in front of him.
Yeah, right. 100%. Yeah, and I agree with you on Binnington. I feel like, honestly, actually, since the Minnesota game, I think he has been pretty rough. Has not looked great. I thought this. Who was that he got the win against? Was that Anaheim? Last week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Because he got the start in between for Hofer since there was back-to-back games. He was fine then, but man, the Minnesota game, coming in relief, like you said, with the Kings, and then last night, he has not been playing his best hockey. But at this point, you just hope, okay, finish out the year as well as you can, come back strong next year.
Right.
Blues fans want losses right now, right? They want Binnington to play poorly.
Right. We did. The funny thing last night was Kurt, completely recalculating the save percentage after every shot in the third period. Just want to get to 90%. Come on. Oh, they scored again, Kurt.
Yeah. Only Kurt sitting there at the game doing math in his head. Thank you, Austin. He does clarify, yes, Binnington's last win was against Anaheim, and that was Friday night, I believe, Friday or Saturday night. Saturday night.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Yeah, I'll admit I didn't watch much of that game because we were watching the City game and celebrated a little after because it was a big win. So we didn't catch a lot of that game, but I did see the recap and I saw most of the third period.
Yeah, I watched it Sunday morning. We went to church Saturday night.
Ooh, look
as
at
in
you.
the band, the church, playing at Delmar Hall. That's as close to church as I'll get these days.
Diane in the chat says I might have bought around last night if I could have found you guys. Yeah, that's we did see. I saw one person who called me out when I was walking down the hall trying to go find my sister-in-law, and I just hear a "Let's Go Blues Radio," and I was like, "Yeah." We just kept walking the other way, and I was like, "All right."
You're too cool for people, Ponder.
Yeah, right. That's what it is. No, I mean, I was gonna stop and talk to the guy, but he just kept going. I was like, "All right, well, just yell my name of my show. I'm cool with that. Let everybody know. Watch it." Yeah. Austin. I wonder if the sticker is still in the bathroom. Yes, we did hang up one of our Let's Go Blues Radio stickers in the bathroom on the concourse.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, I'm sure it's gone, Austin.
Yeah, well, it was having trouble adhering because, restrooms and, large sports venues tend to be a little moist and things don't stick well.
Moist was a word in Cordal today.
Really?
Just I hope I didn't ruin that for anybody who hasn't played it yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just too intense for me. At this point, I'm strictly Wordle.
Yeah, I stopped doing Gordle, the hockey one, because they've changed it now to where it's up to 7 letters.
Right. And it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to start at the beginning. I don't like that.
Yeah.
When they made that change, I dropped it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I've quit that. I am still doing Swordle, which is Star Wars Wordle, because I'm a nerd. So that's fun. Anyway, so back to this game. Toropchenko makes it 1-1, responds midway through the first as he stole the puck on a point-to-point pass. He skated in pretty hard, fires in a wrister past Demko, glove side for the 1-1 tie. That's a kid who I feel like to start the year, I thought Toropchenko was a little rough, and maybe it was coming back from the injury and the surgery. But, I think lately, really about a couple games before he kind of went off about how we're still in the NHL and we still got to compete. A couple games before that, I started seeing a change in his game. And, man, when he plays the way like he played last night, he's one of the best bottom 3, bottom 6 forwards in the NHL because he's got size, he can hit, he can shoot. We've seen him play on the top line already this season. I mean, he really can be a good Swiss Army knife for this team.
Yeah, his speed on that play, like Thatcher Demko is a big kid, right? He's 6'5". He looks big when he's just standing there. On that play, Toropchenko came in so hot that he forced Demko to get deep in the net, and he looked small, and he beat him. That's a save that I think Bubble Demko can make super easy. Right, but he got too deep in the net, went down early, and Toropchenko just sniped that corner. Beautiful shot, beautiful play,
great shot. That was right in front of us too. We celebrated pretty hard for that one. That was nice.
Yeah. We were 7 rows off the ice.
Yeah, something like that. Right there in the corner.
Row J. For those people that can quickly do the math to the alphabet translation. We were in row J.
9, because there's not a row I.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 9 rows from the ice. Yeah, for those who don't know that, there is no row I or row O. So that way, because they look too close to 1 and 0. So there you go. Justin Falk makes it 2-1 as he buried a one-timer on a pass from Buchnevich after the puck bounced around the high slot. Falk put it top shelf. Just another really good shot, I thought, by the Blues. And again, right in front of us. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. They went upstairs, right? The Toropchenko goal was glove side. Falk was blocker side. And in between there, Jake Neighbors had a really great chance. And where did he try to go? Low. He tried to go 5-hole.
5-hole. Yep.
Don't do that on Demko.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, he's got the bottom of the net covered. And I thought, man, come on, Jakey. You know better, but whatever. Hey, he got in a fight. And
oh my God,
fun.
he got into a great fight. It was a great scrap.
It was a beaut. Yeah, I love seeing those kids when they come out and have that fire and want to fight, and that's what he had last night. He was in the trenches all night too. I liked his game last night too, even though he didn't put a puck in. So with just 18 ticks left on the clock in the first period, Andrei Kuzmenko scores his 36th goal on the power play. Now, Bill, listen. Okay, we got a couple things to talk about with this goal. I know who he is. Like we were making the joke, who last night? 36 goals. We know who he is. We cover hockey. We get it. But man, did you realize he had that many goals?
Right. I did not. Like when Tom Calhoun said his 36, I said, I think I looked at Kurt. Did you say 36?
Yeah.
Or 26? Like it just
even 26 would blow my mind.
Right. But hell, I mean, he's on a line with he's at least getting power play time with Patterson.
Yep. Yeah.
Kid's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but man, when he said that, and then of course he scores again later for 37, I was like, oh my God, this kid's having a ridiculous year. Like I had no idea. And part of it's because Vancouver's been a little bit of a dumpster fire this year. So they're not getting the talk on NHL radio. But man, I'm telling you what, that's impressive. And
not only that, I'm less likely to stay up late this year to watch a game in Vancouver because, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? So on this one, I want to mention, and again, this was on the power play. Scandella, I thought, played this very poorly. If you watch the replay, JT Miller skated into the corner, and Scandella actually had Kuzmenko in front, even cross-checked him right as Miller was skating into the corner. And so he was on him. He knew he was there. But then he just kind of peeled off, and I think maybe he thought Miller was going to slide it back to the point, and he'd get his stick on it and intercept. But, I mean, all that did was leave Kuzmenko wide open in front. And that, Austin, was that the affectionate holding goal? I think it was. That terrible hold on Bortuzzo. What the hell? That was one of the weakest calls I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad. But yeah, I thought, man, you can't go man-to-man on the power play, so I get him trying to take up coverage where you can. But, man, you got to cover those passes in front. And there was actually, if you watch the replay again, there was two guys standing alone in front. So Kuzmenko, whatever reason, bobbles it or misses it. There's one more guy there to poke in that rebound. So I thought a poor play, and I hate to just point on one guy in the PK, but, man, Scandella he had his guy. He had him covered in front. And then just let him go, and it just allowed for a perfect tap in for Kuzmenko.
Yeah, it seemed like Scandella was just too easily confused on the play where he should be, and I think that's emblematic of how this season's going. Right, this team's usually elite on the PK, and they're anything but that this year. Go back to the game against Detroit, which we're not going to break down here tonight, but the comments from the Wigs broadcasters would who was it scored the goal? Chase on.
Oh yeah,
the Blues are playing a very passive defense here, right? It seems like they're not in sync, and they're just sitting back and letting the play come to them and not reacting well enough.
Yeah, yes, this team has lost some good PK players recently with trades. Achari, O'Reilly, Barbashev. But, man, yeah, it does not look good. We'll get to some power play numbers here. I'm sorry, penalty kill numbers here in a minute. But first, let's get to a comment here from George Washington. Did you know his teeth were made of wool? Toropchenko's season reminds me of when Steen came back from his shoulder surgery. Took until mid-January that season to start looking normal. Yeah, 100%. I agree. It takes these guys probably a little bit of time to get back to game shape. And man, once he got back, Steen and now Toropchenko, look out. They're solid players, especially for Toropchenko being so young and being able to still have a full NHL career ahead of him. Blues make it 3-2 in the second period as Thatcher Demko plays it to the corner from behind the net, but Leddy pinches enough to cause trouble to the Vancouver D-man. It allows Brandon Saad to step in, find Jakub Vrana in the slot, who one times it past Demko. We'll talk more about Vrana a little bit later, but a nice comeback for the Blues right as we were getting back into our seats from getting Lions choice.
God, you gotta love the great local selections that are available at Enterprise these days. The line for Shake Shack was a little too long, but Lion's Choice right next door did not disappoint.
I think this message comes to us from like 2015. Kyle Beaver jumps in the Facebook chat. Steen is looking great. Could definitely see a C on his sweater next year. I'm wondering if he meant maybe Shen or Tarasenko, or I'm sorry, Toropchenko. We'll see. We'll get to that.
It's got to be Shen.
I think he means Shen. I actually know Kyle. Kyle's a smart dude, so I'm sure that was just a slip. But
or
sorry,
a joke.
Kyle, I had to call
joke.
you out there. Yeah, could be. Man, I agree. That Lion's Choice. Oh, when you stopped, because we were all moving, and I was following Austin. He wanted to get back to the seats because it was right at the end of the first intermission. Kyle Beaver says, "My bad. Colorado vibes. Shen is what he was talking about." I figured that. But yeah, we were walking back, and I see you stop at Lion's Choice, and I'm like, "Oh, that's a really good call." And I turned around and came back, and Austin's like, "See ya!" Like he's going to the seats, and me, you, and Kurt are like, "Yeah, let's get some of that. That sounds good."
Yeah. That was after a couple of beers. Needed something to absorb all that hoppy liquid in the belly.
Yeah, for sure. Blues make it 4-2 as Justin Falk finds Robert Thomas on the power play, who uses Guillaume Brisebois as a screen and beats Demko down low. So this was a very low shot, but when you're shooting from that position, if you've got guys in front, you got to keep that low and hope it'll find a way through or squeak off somebody or something. And I thought just a real good shot there by Robert Thomas on the power play.
Yeah, and I want to give you props for the very, very proper pronunciation of Guillaume Brisebois. I was a little disappointed that y'all didn't join me singing the Canadian national anthem in French at the beginning, but you've redeemed yourself.
Tell you what, next time we go to a Canadian team game, I'll admit I have forgotten. I used to know how to sing it in French. It's been a while. It's been since college. I will join you next time.
All right. It's a deal.
Next time. Yes. It'll be a French-Canadian date. Kyle Beaver in the Facebook chat. Thoughts on Vrana since the trades? If I'm tuning in late, my bad. You're actually tuning in early. So turn us off for about 20 minutes and come back. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We do have a discussion coming up here about Jakub Vrana. I need to teach myself to say that properly. So stay tuned. We will be talking about that here in a little bit. And yes, Austin Lynch says Bill is very passionate singing the Canadian national anthem in French. I was singing in English, but I'm with you again. Next time, next season. We'll do it next season. So Blues make it 5-2, which you thought this was the death nail here, but it was not. Sammy Blais sends a perfect cross-ice pass to, I almost said Sammy Kapanen, Kasperi Kapanen, and springs a 2-on-2 with Buchnevich. He makes a great play to the net. Kapanen delivers it on his stick, and Demko has no chance on the play. I thought this was the prettiest goal of the night. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Although the overtime winner was pretty close to it. The setup play, the setup to this one was much smoother. Sammy Blais.
Yep.
I mean, I know we're going to talk about Vrana and Kapanen coming up, but
And Blake.
I promise you I did not read the outline.
I can tell. No.
All right, then I'll reserve my comments for them.
Okay. So then Vancouver strikes back, makes it 5-3. Canucks strike on the power play again. Quinn Hughes gets the puck at the point, walks the line, and fires home a slap shot that beats Binnington low. Actually, kind of similar to that Thomas goal, but this one was off a face-off. We bitched about a face-off formation a couple weeks ago, and I know Kurt was the one that really called it out. How it seemed like the Blues were in a good position to win the face-off, and they lost that one, but like nobody went to the net. Nobody covered the guys going to the net. In this one, Robert Thomas actually wins the faceoff over his right shoulder, which he's a righty. So that's where you're going to find the puck most of the time off any good faceoff man. They're going to win it to their strong side. And he wins it back, and there's nobody there. So Vancouver steps in. They beat the Blues to the puck. Get it back to the point. Quinn Hughes scores. I'm not saying you need to. I get not having a guy that deep back there when you're on a PK, but I mean, there was nobody even close to getting to that loose puck before Vancouver could step in. Just a weird face-off formation to not see a guy at least ready to spring into that corner when a good face-off man like Robert Thomas wins it back.
Yeah, just inexcusable at this point in the year. Right? Maybe the first 5 games of the year, you're shaking the rust off of the summer. That stuff can happen, but when you're in the stretch run, I don't know. It seems to me a couple of guys on this team are already checked out.
Yeah, it was just odd. Not a fan of that. Winning Unlimited. It's $9.59. I left my kids with my credit card and logged into my NHL 23 PS5 account. I'm sure everything's just fine. Yeah, I made that mistake with my nephew once. Logged into my PS4 account at the time. He bought about 3 games that he was just like, Jeff will like these 2. I don't remember what they were. They were complete crap. I was like, oh, thanks for spending $100. Right. Appreciate it, buddy.
And he didn't just buy the regular edition. He bought the expanded, you get the extra skins and all that stuff. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Aiden, douchebag. He's 15. It's okay. I'm allowed to call him a douchebag. So we've got
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was trying to delay because I knew that was coming.
Trying to vamp.
Yeah, trying to vamp, basically. So then Blues are finding themselves only in a 1-goal lead as Vancouver strikes again. They were pressuring the middle of the third, and Elias Pettersson made a dandy spin around pass to who else but Kuzmenko, has a wide open net to shoot at, as it just seemed like that pass fooled the Blues, including Binnington. Just weren't expecting that type of play. Kuzmenko is just streaking to the net, and again, wide open net for him. Shoots it, scores. Blues only up 5-4 with about 7 minutes left in the third period.
Yeah. Did want to correct you. The third Vancouver goal credited to Brock Besser, not Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes did not have a hat trick.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, my bad. Well, still,
right.
It was all Quinn Hughes, and Besser was in the right spot.
Right. It was the Quinn Hughes show. Offensively, at least. Still not very good in his own zone.
Nope. So with the goalie pulled, Vancouver ties it at 19:06 off an O-zone face-off win. It was a broken play off the face-off. Former Blue Dakota Joshua tips it to Brock Besser, who tips it to Hughes at the point. He one-times the puck from the point and eludes a ton of bodies in front. And the Blues have now seen that 5-2 lead evaporate with under a minute left in play. And it was one of those things, right? You're like, I hope it doesn't happen, but I know it's going to happen, right? We were all thinking that at the time.
Well, I was telling you guys that when we went up 5-2, that it wasn't, it was going to overtime.
Yeah, that was very sad to see. And I don't know. Do you put any blame on Binnington here? I feel like there was a ton of bodies
Yeah.
in front. It looked like he couldn't see it. I get you want your goalie to take up the net and get big, and if it hits you, it hits you. But at this point, when it's going through 5 or 6 bodies and he's not seeing it, I don't put any blame on him. Do you?
No, not at this point. Definitely that, we talked about the first goal where he slid out of position. He got screened on a couple of them. Quinn Hughes is really, really good at getting shots through. The one where he walked the line, changed the angle, that's just brilliant play. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I do think it was, a matter of confidence with Binnington, that things were just going to get through, right? When he is, supremely confident, he seems to make those kinds of saves, can bail the team out. That wasn't him last night.
No, I feel like that confidence is gone. And I'm not saying he played a bad game, but I think a couple of those he probably normally has if the team's playing well and they're pushing for the playoffs at this point. I think we see a different Jordan Binnington last night. I think he played well enough for the win, which clearly they did win, even though they gave up 5 goals. But just not a typical good game for Jordan Binnington.
No, definitely not. And that's why I think Kurt was on and on about him, getting to a 90% on the save percentage last night. And
yeah,
that
would have been nice. I mean, he did face 37 shots. That is a fair amount of shots to face against a team that's struggling in Vancouver. But still, you expect him maybe to come up with a couple more of those saves, especially that first one that we talked about. So the Blues do win this one in OT after giving up the 5-2 lead. 28 seconds into overtime, Jakub Vrana skates it into the zone and drops it to Schenn. Myers and Besser really seemed to read that play poorly. At the time, I wasn't thinking that because, I'm excited for a Blues goal. But watching it again today, I don't think they really understood what was what was developing in front of them. They both just kind of seemed focused on Schenn while Vrana just drove right to the net. And Schenn slid it in front. Vrana taps it in. And great pass from Schenn. Good look from Schenn. But honestly, the position Vrana was in to put that as a one-timer was pretty impressive as well because his body was not really in the position to make that play. So good play by him. Beats Demko. Blues win this one 6-5 in overtime. Again, exciting end, but very interesting way to see that play end. And again, a 6-5 game, a kind of a poor defensive read from the Vancouver Canucks kind of sums this game up perfectly.
Yeah. I was surprised that they allowed Vrana to get open in that situation. I mean, it was very similar, left-handed shot, shooting short side on the blocker side and beating Demko as the Buchnevich goal, right? Tic-tac-toe plays. And, Vancouver gave that to the Blues, which, I think it's probably just miscommunication between Besser and Myers.
Yep. So in this game, shots were 37-31 for Vancouver. Power play, Blues were 1 for 1. Vancouver goes 2 for 3. We kind of mentioned it here a little bit ago about the penalty kill in the past 2 games. This includes the LA game. The PK has killed off just 2 of 8 penalties. That's 25%. That reminds me of the PK we saw in the 8-game losing streak earlier this year, where it was like, okay, at this point, if you get a penalty, just decline it and give them the goal.
Yep.
Like, because you're going to score. They're going to score. So
yeah,
that's how this feels now. And I think even going back to that Minnesota game, they allowed a couple power play goals. PK has not looked good. And again, this is a small sample size. I think overall they've improved since that 8-game streak. But these last 2 games, that penalty kill picks up even just 2 or 3 of those man advantages. Blues are winning against LA and they're winning in regulation against Vancouver last night.
Yeah. If we cared about points, we could lament it, but as it stands, we don't want them to win no more.
Well, and let's face it, we're a Blues hockey show. We need to talk about ways for them to win, even if you do want them to lose. So that's why I say, like, going into next year, that needs to be a focus. Make sure this PK doesn't lose itself like it does in stretches as it's done all throughout the season.
Yeah.
So these new guys are pretty good, huh? We'll talk more in detail about that and other Blues news on the other side of this break from our amazing sponsors. You're listening to producer Austin, Jeff, and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car. And the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same triphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a beer lover's dream for hockey fans. Based in St. Louis, Missouri, owner Steve Albers has been brewing hockey-themed favorites for thirsty sports fans since 2017. From the Beauty IPA to the Old Arena Lager, a cold, frosty, hockey-themed beer is just what the doctor ordered for hockey fans in St. Louis. Make sure to check your local beer store for Center Ice Brewery beer today. LGB. Let's go beer.
During the magical 2019 playoff run, I was in the midst of buying my current home. Every time I spoke with my realtor, obviously, home buying was the discussion. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about what was destined to happen for our St. Louis hockey team. If only there were a realtor who could have walked me through the process, held my hand when needed, but was there to be a sounding board when I wanted to complain about a certain hand pass goal. Let realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage be that for you. He'll have your needs top of mind as he skates you through the home buying or selling process, dangling you past any obstacles and assisting on all your home goals. Check out strikewithmike.com for more information or give him a call directly at 314-753-4060. That's Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage at strikewithmike.com, and that number again is 314-753-4060. Don't forget to tell Mike that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
Oh my gosh, guys, we've got a real surprise here. We've got Kurt Price in the house.
Whoa,
Hey there, Kurt Price.
What's up?
It's
Wait a minute, what's going on here?
It must be Coach Kurt.
Oh, gee, okay. Austin, I think you're messing with our placement too. I'll let you do it. Mess with our placement for me. No, you're not doing it? Is Kurt
I'm
doing
not touching
it?
anything.
I'm doing it.
There.
Okay, because I'm the host tonight,
Good
so I get to
Lord.
be the first spot. That was weird.
I could have just done it myself.
Were you doing it?
No, I wasn't.
Well, then who the hell was doing it? Austin's arms were up. Was that
I didn't
you?
touch anything.
It was Austin. Because it was me. Okay, it doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, what's up, Kurt Price? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just getting my lighting set up here. Yeah, played some pickleball and watched my daughter play some soccer. They lost.
Did she win?
No.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a real murder in that soccer game. It was 2-0.
What?
I make
It's a
jokes all the time
lopsided
to my wife.
score. in
Yeah, I
soccer.
make jokes with the wife all the time when I'm like, "Oh my God, the Galaxy got killed. They lost by 2 goals."
It was 9-2.
Oh, okay, that is a bad one.
Yeah. No, that was a good one compared to how it normally goes.
Oh boy.
So yeah,
What position does she play?
midfield usually, but she was striker for a while tonight. Had a whole bunch of good scoring
Nice.
chances. Couldn't put one in though.
Mm.
Yep.
Well, we already talked about it tonight, Kurt, but I don't know if you wanted to bring up anything. How much fun you had last night? If you had a good time, if you hated hanging out with the Let's Go Blues radio crew, what'd you think?
I had a great time. I would have had a great time if it wasn't for the hosers I was sitting next to.
Yeah, I agree. Don't make fun of Brendan. He was a nice guy.
No, good, fun game. I think I tweeted out that it was it was not a pretty game, but it was not a pretty game, but it was a pretty fun game. So that kind of sums it up for me. At this point in the season, you're not making the playoffs. You're positioning for the lottery and whatever. I mean, I went there to see some fun hockey. I saw some fun hockey. Had a good time with you guys, and had some good Lions choice. I heard you guys talk about Lions choice on the way back from the soccer game.
Yeah, would you agree it was worth being late for a goal? Totally.
Yeah,
worth
well,
it.
we did see the goal. We were just waiting in the.
We did.
And did you talk about how we weren't let back in?
We did not. I knew you were going to want to talk about
me
it.
off. We're trying to get by an usher and some guy. They're walking side by side down the off the concourse down the hall, the entryway, and we're trying to get by. We can't. They're blocking the way because we know we want to get there before because we knew it was a stoppage, and we wanted to get so we didn't walk in front of people when there was a stoppage and when there wasn't when play was going on, and so we get past that yellow line. And we finally get by him, and then the usher says, "No, hold up," because the play just started. I'm like, "God damn it, we're trying to get by you for the last 10 seconds. We could have been to our seats already."
It was bad because I think they were talking and they were just moving so slow, and we're like, "Play is getting ready to get started. Fucking move!"
Yeah. And we would have made it to our seats. We saw the goal standing there, in the entryway, but
it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Austin was so crestfallen and lonely when we got back there. You didn't have anybody to high five. Like
I tell you what, we talked about Brendan and the people he was with, the guy that was sitting next to us. But man, you know what I love is when you sit around a bunch of good people who love to high five after a goal.
Yep.
Everyone around us was high fiving after every goal. Like, I love that. When I'm around people and I'm like, yeah, they just like look at me. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any of that last night.
Yep. No, we had a good group of guys. Did anybody get a high five from our photo bomber though?
I did.
I did too. One of the goals. I turned around that one.
All right.
Austin says he did too.
All right.
Yep.
I think I did. I don't know.
Oh, I made it a point to. After I saw his photo bomb, I'm like, oh, I'm high fiving that guy later.
It was a fun game. It was.
It was.
And thanks to Austin for. I'm sure you guys thanked him already, but again, thanks Austin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, bud. That was very. I don't. Yeah. Okay. He's saying you guys didn't. Wow, a bunch of dicks.
Yes, we did. Shut up, dickhead.
He's lying. Now?
You're fired,
Austin. Go suck a bag of dicks.
Yeah. Agree.
I love that insult. Go suck a bag of dicks.
One of my favorite, and it was in the Let'sGoBlues.com forums. I don't know if you remember this. One of my favorite things I've ever seen is Hannu Toivonen is a bag of crap. And I don't know why, but I remember just reading that after a game where he gave up like 5 goals on like 12 shots. And just being like, okay, that's a great fucking quote. I'm keeping that. Hannu Toivonen is a bag of crap.
He
Nice.
did have a pretty damn good mask though. Anytime you can work a pair of human ears into a mask, it's pretty good.
Yes. That's the second time in 2 nights we've talked about good blues masks, like Marvin the Martian with Patrick Laline.
Yep.
Yes.
The best part of his
Another good
game
one.
was his mask.
Yes. Yes.
And letting goals
So-
in off his back.
Would you
Yes,
say
he was great at that.
Would you say that was probably one of the most disappointing goalie acquisitions we've had?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He was great everywhere else but here.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to that. Oh, the Leam, hey.
The
No.
botched
Yeah,
eye
he
surgery.
faltered the playoffs before the lockout, and I think that put him on that path.
There was rumor that he had LASIK eye surgery that went bad.
Yep.
Was that ever confirmed?
Oh boy.
Yep. I don't know if it was confirmed, but I do remember that was heavy talk at the end of that season.
And they also had a goalie equipment change, a rule change. With,
Right.
Yes.
With
Right.
the inner, there's like a inner blade or something that they took away from the goalies.
The cheater blade.
The cheater blade that allows them to better push off when they're on their knees, right, side to side.
Yeah.
And they took that away, and the Leam relied on that heavily.
Right.
So we got him at the wrong time.
Right. The two goalies that relied on that most heavily were Jose Theodore and Patrick Lalime.
Yeah.
So careers that spiraled after that point.
Well, that's
The
true.
stuff you find out by listening to Let's Go Blues Radio.
Or podcasts about those teams. I'm sure they mentioned it too.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe. Yeah. But they should mention it.
They should quote us.
This
and
is
say,
information. Well, it's their hometown teams. They,
Mhm.
you know, although he was on this team when those issues came
That's
about.
true.
So
That's a good point.
So we should know this. We should know this.
Yeah. Again, something you won't get from Two Guys, One Cup. Fuck those
No,
guys.
never.
Ever.
They're too busy writing.
Steven's the
Steven's
worst.
too busy writing articles complaining about things.
Yeah, right. And tweeting about stuff that nobody cares about, like soccer.
I like soccer.
Wait,
Dude, I'm wearing a fucking City kit right now.
It's a jersey.
Or hockey shot clock.
Do you find yourself you're forcing yourself to say kit, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
See,
Yeah, I want to say
Do
jersey
you
so
force
bad.
yourself to say pitch too instead of field?
Yes.
Me too. And
Yes.
a part of me is like,
Mhm.
you know what? God damn it. Like D from
Okay,
It's
D.
Always Sunny. God damn it.
God damn it.
I just want to say field and I just want to say jersey. I really do. I understand
You know
that it's
what's-
Europe, it's kit and pitch in Europe. I get it everywhere else in the world, but it's not here, to be honest.
You know what
it?
has actually helped me with pitch? It was Ted Lasso.
Okay.
So even before City came, I was starting to say pitch more.
Really?
And training.
I
Instead of practice.
I feel weird saying it just because it's not natural to me to say that. I played soccer most of my life growing up as a kid, and it was always field. It was never heard the word pitch ever until I don't know, as an adult.
We I mentioned to you guys that we went in the Ferris wheel last week. My son and wife and a couple of our family members, and they were training. They had practice in the practice fields, and I even caught myself saying it. I was like, "Oh, look, they're training over there. They're at training," and I was like, "I just said training properly." I was so proud of myself.
You know, some people that want to call hockey jerseys kits. Who does that? You ever done that, Bill? You ever call a hockey jersey a kit?
No.
Some people try and do that.
Not unless I was extremely drunk.
Some people try and do that, and that makes me angry.
Yeah.
I can't really rationalize that anger. It's irrational, but I don't care. I mean, it's not a kit. It's a hockey jersey, a sweater. If you're gonna say something different, say sweater.
Right. Say sweater.
Say
sweater. Yeah, there are some fringe hockey fans who, you know, that like I drive me nuts when they insist on calling it a sweater. You can't call it a jersey. You have to call it a sweater. No, I have a closet full of jerseys.
Yeah, that drives me nuts too. Like you're trying to be elitist. Like that's all you're doing when you say that.
Well, it's
like not even some NHL players call it their jerseys.
Well, they used to be sweaters back when they were actually sweaters, right?
Right.
The material. It was like a
Right.
sweater material.
I
get it. I understand. But
I knew one guy that owned a New York Rangers sweater. And it was made of wool, and he could wear it and go play shinny on a cold day and not get cold. Right?
I have an Oilers sweater. It's from the original outdoor game, the
Heritage
when was that,
Classic.
2002.
Yeah,
Heritage Classic. Yeah, I that one is actually a sweater, and I love that thing. On cold days, I put that thing on, and I feel great.
they didn't wear sweaters though; they wore jerseys. I mean, it's like a
right.
I'm pretty sure wasn't it a little more insulated?
Was it?
I don't know. I have
Could be wrong. It looks like a jersey, but it is definitely a sweater.
I have the Habs jersey from that because that game, Jose Theodore wearing the toque on the hat, like completely changed everything. Right? That there was pre that game and post that game when it comes to goalie fashion. And Jose knocked it out of the park, set the stage for the next 20 years. That was 20 years ago.
I know.
Fucking
We're old. We're old. That was before Austin was born. How about that?
Oh my God.
All right, let's get back on track here, guys. We were talking before the break, that game, especially with Vancouver, talking about these new, I'm going to put on quotes, new guys for the Blues, because one of them is a returned guy. How good have Jakub Vrana, again, I almost called him Sammy Kapanen again, Kasperi Kapanen, and Sammy Blais been? How about some statistics to break this down, huh? How about that? So Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev, and I'll add a little caveat here before I rattle off any stats here. I did leave out Nola Chari in these stats because I feel that it's unfair because we're talking about three new guys, and the three big key pieces we moved were Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev. So,
would you say
looking at the
Achari
stats,
was more productive than Barbashev? Just to be argumentative.
he was. Yeah, I'd say he was. So, but he was on a 1-year contract.
Right.
So for me, it's more winning unlimited statistics are for losers. Greg Hotard, no one likes numbers, Hadley. Okay, guys, suck it. We're going to talk about him anyway.
Nice.
So between Barbashev, Tarasenko, and O'Reilly, before they were traded from the Blues in 137 games, they had 32 goals, 50 assists, and 72 points. That's a points per game of .526. Kapanen, Vrana, and Blais, since joining the Blues, have played in a total of 50 games, so about a third of what we saw from Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Barbashev this year. 50 games, they have 23 goals, 15 assists, and 38 points. That is a points per game between the three of them of .760. So, again, that point percentage for Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev was .526. So they are actually outscoring Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev before they were traded. If they played in as many games, they would have much more in terms of goals and points. And just for fun, I did, what have Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev done since being traded? So they've played better. Maybe it make the case for O'Reilly because he's been out a while, but in 46 games since being traded from the Blues, those three have 13 goals, 18 assists, and 31 points. And that is a .674 points per game. So again, Kapanen, Vrana, and Blais have outscored them with their new teams at .760 points per game. So when all said and done, are fucking producing at a high level. Genius pickups, at least and we say small sample size. Yes, it's small. It's but honestly, at this point, Kapanen's played 15 games. Vrana's played 12. Blais played 23. That's a pretty big sample size at this point, and they're playing fucking well, very well on this roster.
Do you know what also is a small sample size? Playoffs. So sometimes small sample sizes matter.
Right. No, with Sammy Blais, it just feels like he's destined to be a St. Louis Blue. Right? He went to the Rangers, got injured quickly, and just he couldn't. The team is so talent laden. After bringing in Panarin, and they've got Zibanejad, and they've got super high end talent on that team, and they had two very high draft picks in Capo Caco, best name in the NHL, and Alexis Lafreniere. There's no way Blais is going to get the type of ice time that he needed to be effective, and he comes back here on a stripped down roster, and god damn, he is like, if I were to go buy a jersey tomorrow, I'm getting a Sammy Blais jersey. He is my favorite player on this team.
An excellent choice. He should be what people are latching on to that are constantly crying about Perron not being here. I love David Perron, but Sammy Blais is the same kind of vibe. Now he's not as talented as Perron is, but he wants to be here, right? And he's performing well here. I think so. People that are homesick for Perron, maybe just channel that towards Sammy Blais. And Jeff, I wanted to mention too that Blais with his 17 points and Tarasenko was 15. We talked last night. You said that Blais was now scoring Tarasenko, and I said I didn't think so. You were correct. He's up by 2 points. I guess Tarasenko has went into a little bit of a slump recently because Blais caught him and passed him.
Yeah, well, and I think Blais had 2 points last night. I believe,
last I looked at like 3 or 4 games ago, Blais was a few points behind Tarasenko. So, I guess Tarasenko. I have not looked at the box score for Tarasenko the past week or so. So maybe he just hasn't produced.
Right, and the Blues have scored 12 goals in the last 2 games. So,
right.
Defense be damned.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, winning's winning, and who cares if you won 6-5 or 1-0? But I think this offense is kind of producing at a rate closer to what we expected coming into the season, based on how they produced last season. But the defense is obviously an issue, and probably too little, too late for the offense. So.
Well, I want to add too. So you mentioned Sammy Blais outscoring Tarasenko at this point. That's also in goals, because Blais has 8 goals. Tarasenko only has 6.
Right.
So
goals and points.
He's more of a goal scorer at this point than Vladimir Tarasenko is.
Which
is so weird to say.
Which is crazy because Tarasenko is playing with Panarin.
Right.
I mean, those two guys should be lighting it up.
Right. And what Tarasenko's what's the stat here? He's got 15 assists? No, 19 assists.
9 assists, 15 points.
Oh. I'm reading the wrong line.
9 assists, 15 points.
Again, I promise I didn't read this before we started.
We can all tell, Bill.
15 points in 23 games isn't bad. It's just it's funny because Blais is outperforming him.
Yeah.
So
it is. And the fact, again, talking about how he did not even score a goal for the New York Rangers, and then he comes in here
54
and
games,
his career high.
54 games.
I think it was like 54 games or something like that he played for Rangers. Didn't score a single fucking goal.
In 23 games, he has matched his career high. He's going to beat that this year.
You think?
And
so?
He didn't score any goals in the first. What? I didn't look. I mean, I think he played 20 or 30 games for the Rangers this year.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
That's why I think, I think I tweeted out, optimism should be high for the offense, which is kind of weird to say because we traded away Tarasenko and O'Reilly, and we brought in guys that, were waived and we got for a 7th round pick or, a throw in on the Tarasenko deal. So it's like, so you think that the offense would probably need another lead scorer, but with Kyrou and Thomas hopefully filling that role for elite scorers next season, maybe they'll be okay offensively. Then they can just focus on defense in the off season.
Right.
Well, and that's what we talked about last night, right? So the Blues have about, I think it's like $7 million in cap space going into next year. They don't have any UFAs on the roster because they signed Blais. I think he was the only one. And Grice, but they're going to let him go.
Bye.
At least they should.
See ya.
I think. And we, again, talked about this last night with you, Kurt. There's room if you can get him at 5 or 5.5. If there was a little kind of handshake deal before he left, maybe you go back and get O'Reilly for your middle 6. And yes, that will take up a lot of your cap space. But if the goal is to try and get rid of at least one of those defensemen, that's going to free up more money to try and fix that defense. Now, I don't know if you're going to do it in one off season, but firing Van Ryn and then maybe making one switch and getting a defensive defenseman or 2 in there, that could help this defense a shit ton going into next year.
Right. There obviously has to be a change in how the defense plays next year. And, we've all been on the Fire Van Ryn bandwagon for most of this season at this point. Maybe he pulls a trick out of his sleeve and, going into training camp can develop a system that will support this offense and play defense. I mean, I think right now we are seeing a team that does not have a connected offense and defense, right? That's not a typical Berube team. The chains are off the offense. Let them do what they're going to do. This is kind of the most exciting hockey we've gotten to see with this team under Berube.
If you're going to lose while scoring 5 or 6 goals.
Right. It's not going to be this way next year. There is going to be an adjustment on the back end. And, hopefully it doesn't require too much offensive adjustment, because Jakub Vrana, goddamn, he's like, I made that joke about Mike Hoffman, scoring 40 of the shortened season. He's a 40-goal guy. He really is a 40-goal guy. If he gets a full season playing at this level.
Are you making that prediction now?
Oh,
no.
boy.
No, because there is going to be a change. And if they make the change and they make him play more defensive, his game is going to suffer.
Yep.
And we've talked about this to death. It all boils down to if one of the current NTCs on defense waives their NTC. And if none of them do, this is what we got. Aside from switching up Bortuzzo or Rosen or Tucker, or the bottom two, mixing and matching, bringing somebody else, whatever. Your top 4 are not changing.
Right.
And that's what. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, if that's the case, if none of those guys, are willing to deal with the NTC, Van Ryn's got to go. Right. You cannot bring him back to manage this defense because they have not been good.
Oh, I think he needs to go end of season, day after the season's over. If you don't fire him, it's a mistake. I'm with you that if you can make a change, maybe he can work something else out. But to me, his track record has not been good, even including the Cup year. So I'm okay with them just saying, okay, we need a change back there. And I think my worry is if you can't get one of these guys to move their NTCs, what's the point to me? Like, what is the point of even trying to win the next 4 or 5 years? Because they ain't going to do it with this defense.
Well, okay, I'll counter that with it. A completely different system and with a completely different defensive coach can make all the difference. And we can. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. I think they're individually. We talked about before on the show that the defensemen are talented individually, but for whatever reason, they are not gelling and working together at all. At times, they look bad. I mean, just the responsibilities, their situational awareness sucks. And to me, I think if you're not going to make a change with personnel, you absolutely have to fire Van Ryn. And I think they were talking on the radio about revamping the system for next season. And I think Rivers was hinting that, Berube and Van Ryn, I don't think he's going to come out and say that Van Ryn needs to be fired. Just not, I don't think it's going to, he wouldn't say that. But he hinted that, Berube and Van Ryn got to get together and come up with a new system. And I'm like, do you go that route or you bring in somebody else to come up with a new system? Because honestly, that should have been done before this season, because last season's defense was bad and nothing changed going into this season with the same personnel. So I'm not sure what they would change that they shouldn't have done last offseason.
Yeah.
They've
regressed
for years that they need to do something with this defense.
I'm just saying, especially from last season to this season. Because
yes.
it's the exact same personnel, right? And it's just
we got a Dexter sighting.
Yeah, he's making his rounds.
A Dexter photobomb. I love it.
He's making his rounds. He's awake. He's no longer sleeping.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
I don't know. Talk about this offense. Let's talk positive. I think if you go into the next year with this offense, and Kapanen, Vrana, and Blais can even play at a 75% clip of what they're playing at now, I'm not worried about the offense at all. They're not the prolific offense we saw last year, but you add those three guys to Buchnevich, Thomas, Kyrou, Torpchenko, who can play well offensively.
Sod.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty still good top 9 in the NHL.
You know, I said that from last season to this season. I was not worried about the offense. And it was touch and go for most of the season. I was like, we'd look great for a little bit, and we'd look awful and out of sync for a while. The offense was a shell of its former self from last season with the 9-20 goal scorers. Losing Perron should not have decimated the offense. I mean, I love Perron. He's a 20-plus goal guy. You know, he's not a 50, 60 goal scorer. He shouldn't have been that detrimental to the fall off in the offense until recently. So I don't. Well, it all depends. You go from season to season. You know, players can perform at different levels. I'm hoping, like you said, that they can maintain close to this level next season. And yes, I agree with you that that should, on paper, the offense should be fine.
Well, and let's add in that, and I think that, again, I've said this before. I think the reason David Perron was let go was because I think the thought was, well, this is Jake Neighbors' year to step in. He didn't quite do that this year. Another year under the belt for Jake Neighbors. Maybe he breaks out next year.
Maybe. I also think, too, we had 9 20 goal scorers last season, and they're all coming back except for Perron. So I think that probably is, well, we're very deep offensively. We can afford to lose a Perron. I think that probably played into it quite a bit, too.
Yep,
right.
I agree.
From a numbers perspective, yes. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but Alan Walsh retweeted the picture of the 1,000-game jersey that was presented to David Perron. That it's the Blues jersey, and he made the comment that he was the heart and soul of this team, and I think
that's his agent.
It's an agent overselling it a little bit, but I think there is an element of chemistry that just disappeared with Perron.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the captain.
Yeah, with O'Reilly, because his numbers suffered bad.
Yeah,
especially early in the season.
Ryan, we know you're really good playing with David Perron. You guys had great chemistry, but we got you a Josh Levo.
Yeah, that's a great point. There, Levo's filling in. What?
Yeah,
and they actually looked good for a little bit, but you know what? I don't think anybody expected that to last a long time. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where, hey, it's working. It's hot right now. We'll stick with it while it's hot, but it's going to cool off pretty soon, and then you got to figure it out.
Yeah, you had a Levo, O'Reilly, Sod line, and that comes from the year before, where basically you just replaced Perron with Levo because Perron was on that line. So they looked better than O'Reilly's looked in any other. But replacing Perron with Levo, that's not going to create a lot of goals.
Yeah, and we also didn't have that nice one-timer on the left side on the power play either. So that hurt.
Although, did they really try Levo there?
Not on the power play, I don't think. Not much. I know Tarasenko tried to develop a one-timer. Remember that? When he was taking a lot of one-timers in practice and trying to I mean, a guy with his skill level, and he's not a good, he can't one-time the puck like you think he should be able to. That's
right.
That's always been disappointing to me. I mean, that was like one of the big things with him. I was disappointed. I'm like, you don't have a one-timer, really?
If he had a quicker release, he would put up 50 goals a year.
Yeah, he wanted to get when he hit 40, he said, "I want to get 50," and never came close to it. I agree, Jeff. He takes too long to get his shot off, and he scored a lot with that. But man, if he could just get it off quicker.
Right.
I mean, like he should be able to.
For him to come in here to be the most prolific scorer since Brett Hull and not have a quality one-timer, that's not the way you do it.
Although that one goal he scored when he came back from his shoulder issue early on the first couple games.
He found a one-timer.
Oh, the one-timer from the near boards that was like just under the bar from the angle. I'm like, holy shit, where has that been his entire career? And then that was really all it was. It was just the one.
One trick pony right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so we talked about the offense and the defense. Let's talk a little bit about goaltending. The Blues assigned Joel Hofer to Springfield following the Blues' 7-6 loss to LA on Sunday.
Send him down.
This was the original plan and not related to the horrific game on Sunday.
Says
Hofer,
the press release.
Yeah, I think it's true. I actually believe that.
For the most part,
plan was to get him a couple more games and then send him down for the playoffs in the AHL.
Let's expose him to a playoff team.
Yeah. Let's expose to a playoff team with a Blues defense, because the Blues defense showed its true colors that night. This is the defense that Jordan Binnington and Thomas Greiss have seen all year.
Yeah.
The play for the kid mentality that we saw in the Detroit games and the other game he played in Washington.
Yep.
That was completely gone against LA. There was none of that there.
Well, and LA is also playing at an extremely high level right now. That was an entertaining game. That was fun. It kept coming back. You know, the LA score kept coming back. Fun game, frustrating game. The third period.
I didn't watch past the first period because Monday's a school day, and I'm not gonna get into an emotional arrangement with the Blues that late on a Sunday night at this point in the season when there's no hope.
Yeah, I actually watched the friend of the show, Amanda Levier, play in the Isabel Cup for the PHF that night instead. I was flipping back to the Blues game when I could, but when they were down 5-2, I was really like, okay, I'm all in on this PHF final. Unfortunately, Amanda lost in overtime in that game. She played great. Minnesota Whitecaps lost to the Toronto Six. But a little preview for everyone. If you haven't listened to any of our episodes with Amanda, she's been on twice. I don't know if you guys listen to those shows. It's always just been me doing it because it's over the summer. She is an excellent guest. We talk professional, playing in a professional league, getting ready for professional games. I mean, we talk about everything. Last time she was on, we talked about an injury she had and how recovery goes for professional athletes, mentality of coming back from an injury. I mean, great insight from Amanda. We will have her on again this summer. We've already talked about it. So maybe Bill, maybe I'll get you to join us this time. We can talk a little goalie.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
has
she's the best.
Matt Harris has been talking up quite a bit in the chat. Has anything been mentioned about to Matt Harris and others about the surprise in the end of the show? No. Okay.
Stay tuned for the end of the show, Matt Harris.
Stay tuned for the end of the show, Matt Harris.
Wow, Bill. Jesus. I won't mention what you just sent to me in private chat. Good Lord.
Well, now you got to say it.
Ken Morris. No, please don't. Ken Morris says Amanda interviews were great. Yeah, Levier. We've had her on the last 2 summers. Look them up. They're again some of my favorite episodes, and not just because Kurt and Bill weren't there, but Amanda's one of the best guests that we've ever had. So again, talking about Joel Hofer, he's going to make help Springfield make its 2023 Calder Cup playoff run. Excuse me. He made 5 starts during his stint with the Blues, posting a 3-0-1 record to go along with a .279 goals against average and a .915 save percentage. He ranks 5th in the AHL overall in wins, 4th in save percentage, and 2nd in shutouts. You guys talked a lot about Hofer last week, so I don't want to rehash anything, but I liked his call up this time around better than last time. He came up and got a win in his first game. I think it was against San Jose. Surprise, Blues beat San Jose. And sorry,
come on, Teal Town.
Yeah.
Get your team
and then
together. Let's go.
And then I think he looked a little rough in his second game last year. But this
Wasn't
time
that
I thought
Carolina?
he was. I think Carolina. That sounds right. And he looked great. I thought this whole call up. Again, that LA game, maybe a little rough, but again, I think we saw the true colors of the Blues defense. He will be the backup next year. I could see the Blues maybe pulling I guess Thomas Greiss is the best example, but a Brian Elliott comes to mind, a move where they're like, let's sign a veteran to challenge him for the backup. But Brian Elliott came out flying in that training camp and screwed over Ben Bishop.
Yeah.
So that was that's you got to think that's not going to happen again. But I can see them doing something like that. But I think at the end of the day, Joel Hofer is your backup goalie next year.
Yeah, it might be something just for training camp, like just for the intent of like
a John Gillies.
A John Gillies.
I was just thinking John Gillies.
Just to challenge him in camp to make him work.
I have a John Gillies stick right back here.
And then nothing's a given. But I'm looking forward to Hofer. I can't. I'm excited about the future of the goaltending. I think the very small sample size in the NHL, he's looked good. He's looked quick, positionally sound for the most part. Again, and is also very susceptible to poor defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I was disappointed when they signed Greiss. If they were gonna, I wanted Husso back. I like that tandem, and I think Hofer is the best alternative to Bennington Husso. So I'm looking forward to next season. Goodbye, Thomas Greiss. He backed up the games. Like he backed up when Hofer got, what start was that? Bennington was the scratch, or no, it was the Anaheim game. Bennington got the start and Hofer got scratched.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, actually, I think, was it the second Detroit game? Maybe Bennington sat that game too. I don't think I think he was in the box.
Yep.
But yeah, either way, I'm looking forward to it. I said earlier this week on Twitter, yes, thank you. You know what? Comment of the show goes to my friend Greg Boswell Hotard. Goalies can't stop backdoor tap-ins. Thank you. Can you please tell every damn Blues fan on Twitter that's the case? I mean, maybe you stop a couple when you get lucky.
Another goal in Bennington. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Throw up a save percentage.
Save percentage is terrible because he faced 6 backdoor tap-ins and only stopped 2.
He's only faced 4 shots, give him 2 goals.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Fucking
unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
You missed that part of the show where we talked about you calculating save percentage as he went along last night and how disappointed you were.
I did hear you touch on a part of that. I was like, we should a few more shots and he can have a 900 save percentage for the game. And then
next shot went in.
Next shot went in, and it was like, motherfucker.
So you're saying it's Kurt's fault? Damn it, Kurt.
Totally.
I always, and I'm sure you, goalie Bill, I'm sure you do this same thing. Like, okay, we've got he's allowed 1 goal on 5 shots. Okay, 5 more shots and it's a 900 save percentage. All right, there we're 10 shots. Okay, that's good. Now 15, 18 shots, 1 goal against. Pretty good save percentage this game. Oh, next one goes in. Damn it, back below 900 again. And it's like a vicious cycle. So okay, got to get a few more shots to get back above 900.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do that at the height of my my adolescent depression. So I try not to do it so much anymore.
Did you do it when you were in goal?
I
always wondered about goalies. Like, do they look at the shots and think about their save percentage in the game at the time?
I'll tell you, my goalie does. I know he does. He asked me how many shots he's faced. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's the second period.
Yeah, no, there was a while that I was obsessed with that, and I always way overestimated how many shots I had.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm totally rocking a 96. It's more like a 75.
Yeah, my goalie will come in after our games and he'll go, I faced 42 shots. And I'll just look at him and be like, the 13, fuck dude. You did, 13. Dude? And he's like, no, I know, I counted. I'm like, dude, they're 15-minute periods. There's no way you pay more than half the play was down in the other end.
You have to tell him you can't count warm-ups.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't stop those. Don't worry.
It's because you're shooting at his head.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
and goalies don't like it when you actually come in and make a move. They just want to take long
They want
shots.
straight on shots.
They want to feel that. They want to get a feel for the puck. I get it, but you know what? So the pre-games warm-ups for the forwards too.
Is it
Yeah,
though?
a
Do we
little bit.
really
A
warm
little
up?
bit. You want to get a feel
I
for
don't-
shooting the puck? Sure.
I don't think we need warm-ups that much. Maybe 1 or 2 shots, but shoot him when the goalie's not in. He's not in the whole time for warm-ups.
Oh,
Yeah,
but shooting on a goal with a goalie in it is much better. Much
Oh,
different
shoot
than
at the
shooting-
post. You got to try and hit the post.
Unless
I'm
you're
just
our
saying.
good friend Chris Schmieder, and then there's definitely 2 going off my skull.
Yeah. God, I was standing behind the goal at one time at just playing at the park, right? And he drilled me in the back.
Ugh.
Oh, I was, don't shoot. My parents were there. I was like, they walked up and I was talking to him, and he took a shot and drilled me right in the spine. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you deserved it after
Oh,
hitting
I went
Bill.
down like a. Oh, I went down like a.
That was
like
years
a guy who got hit in
before.
the spine.
Well,
right.
there you go. Karma came at him before he even did what he did to you.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, pretty awesome news here, actually, and it sucks that I'm busy this Saturday. Got an all-day tournament. Austin's playing in it as well. But and a couple of our listeners, including Greg Hotard. Centene Community Ice Center to host the USA Hockey Disabled Festival begins tomorrow on March 30th. The festival includes the Sled Hockey National Championship. It will also host a record 130 teams throughout the weekend. So the main place for it is Centene Community Ice Center, but it will also be, at Maryville University Ice Center in Chesterfield and the Ice Zone in Hazelwood. They'll have some games there. Games at the Centene Community Ice Center and Maryville University will be streamed on Live Barn, which Kurt and Bill, you guys don't play anymore. Do you know what Live Barn is?
No.
Live Barn is actually some rinks have adopted it here in St. Louis, and it's kind of nice. It's literally just in a 24-hour feed of hockey going on at these arenas.
Oh,
So,
I'm
like,
never playing again.
Yeah, you're right. So I play some men's league games. I don't do it at either of those rinks, but I believe Creve Coeur has it. And so I'm like, if I wanted to pay, I think it's like $10 a month for live Barn. You just pay it and you can watch hockey anytime you want. It's just a live feed and you can watch past games, and it's actually a really cool program. But yeah, so if you're interested in watching any of it, you can download Live Barn. They may even have a sample if you want to try it. That's for Centene and Maryville. Blind, deaf, and hard of hearing, special, standing amputee, and warrior hockey will be featured the first weekend with 58 different teams and over 1,000 players taking the ice. Sled hockey will take center stage the second weekend, including the Toyota USA Hockey Sled Hockey National Championship. A total of 72 sled teams will compete in 7 adult and 5 youth divisions. So this is actually, I know, we're all here talking about the Blues and, the NHL. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. And the fact that St. Louis got it this year is huge. So if you're not doing anything this weekend, check out the schedules at Centene and Maryville and Ice Zone. Check out some of these games. It's very exciting stuff to have it host here in St. Louis.
We were supposed to be doing something this weekend. The Blues are playing in Nashville, and we all agreed to go, and a couple of you hosers backed out.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Kurt?
See,
you going?
Amy and I were gonna go, and then I was like,
We're gonna.
Nobody else is going, so we're gonna go somewhere else, and then we decided not to do anything. But we signed up for 7 hours of pickleball on Saturday, so that'll be fun.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that is
I'm
a lot.
looking forward to cutting my grass for the first time.
I am not.
Well,
looking
I'm
forward
not
to
either.
that.
I don't know. It's supposed to be really shitty weather here. Be very safe. Those of you in St. Louis, be very safe on Friday.
Shit, like rain or what?
Like super bad thunderstorms
Yeah, on Friday.
on Friday.
Okay.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, the whole Nashville thing, we had a great time when we went down there last year until we got back and were sick for like 3 days,
Well,
but not with COVID.
right. I wasn't sick.
I was knocked the fuck out. when we got back. But I mean, I had a great time. I really did want to go this year, but we've we have a couple of trips coming up in May and June, and
I do too. I do too. We're going to the Ozarks, and then we're going to Virginia. So Austin was supposed to go. Jeff was supposed to go, and you guys backed out. Bunch of losers.
I gave you my reasoning.
I know we didn't go. You still backed out.
Mm-hmm. It honestly wasn't because of the tournament that Austin and I are playing in. And I'll just say it on air. It's because if the Blues were playoff bound or even battling, really truly battling for a playoff spot, it would be so easy to tell my wife, "Hey, let's go watch the Blues in Nashville." Hell yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. You can call her a fair weathered fan. It's not me. Because if I asked her now,
who wears the
go
pants
to
in that
Nashville, she does. I'm not wearing pants right now.
That's a dumb question. I knew the answer to that question.
Yeah, of course. No, I 100% we'd be going if the Blues were in a playoff position. But because they're not, and it's not because they're not, it's because there were high hopes going into this year. And she is so down on the Blues right now, she would laugh at me if I even asked. So next year, when the hopes aren't as high going into the year, I will easily be able to say, let's go to Nashville for a game. Yeah, sure. Sounds like fun.
But okay. So to me, like the game is like the centerpiece of the trip. However, there's Friday night there. And it's a Saturday game, right? Yeah. Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year they might not play in Nashville on a Saturday. Might be a fucking Sunday at 4:00 game. Because for a couple of years they didn't have the Saturday game in Nashville.
Right.
I just have to hope they will.
Mm-hmm. And there's Saturday after the game because it's an afternoon game. So after the game on the Strip. Yep.
Why don't you fucking go if you're going to bitch about it? Just go.
I was expecting a group trip. That's what I was expecting.
Oh,
and then when the group bails, it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Vanessa, friend of the show here, Vanessa Graff, who is part of our panel for the summer, what's it even called? Summer Series Blues all-time team. She'll be part of the panel to help pick players to be picked by the fans. We'll explain later what that means. But I love this comment from Vanessa. She says, "Your birthday better be soon, Jeff. I have a near 10-page report on prospects for you about to be ready." So Vanessa, I haven't told you this yet. I'm telling you this now. You are scheduled to be on for our show that will air on April 26th. We can record before that. It won't be a live show unless you want it to be. My birthday is April 25th. So, yes, my birthday is soon, and we will be having that episode right after my birthday. So, yes, good call, Vanessa.
She has a 10-page report on prospects. Did you watch 8 hours of footage for every prospect, like any responsible wannabe podcaster does?
She actually watches the Springfield games, so I think she has more than 8 hours.
Okay. I'm I'm going with that.
I think a lot of us do, yes.
You didn't get the drop on him.
No.
That's from a movie.
I was called an asshole. He called me an asshole.
Oh yeah, you are. Well, you are an asshole.
Yeah, I think he did call me an asshole.
I think he called you an asshole.
I was just paying a compliment on his 1.5 million listens per episode.
Ridiculous.
I was just congratulations, dude. That's impressive.
Yeah, we haven't hit that, and we've been around for 12 years. Next up for the Blues, Thursday at Chicago at 7:30. Saturday they play in Nashville at 12 o'clock, as we've mentioned. Sunday they're back in St. Louis versus Boston at 2:30. Tuesday they play Philadelphia at 7 o'clock. A couple notes on those: the Thursday game tomorrow night, as well as the Tuesday night game here in St. Louis. They are going to air on Bally Sports Midwest Extra if you have cable. So because of Cardinals conflicts, which I don't have a problem with, especially this year with the Blues not being a playoff team.
This year,
no problem. The only one that I'll say, and I think it's tomorrow, the Cardinals played what, 2? And you're telling me you're concerned that the Cardinals game's not going to end by 7:30 against Chicago?
And they want to replay the Cardinals game right away.
Actually, you're probably right. I bet they have a replay
is.
scheduled for 7:00.
You know what? Yeah. I'm almost tired of hearing people complain about, say, the Blues being moved to Fox, Bally's Extra or whatever it's going to be on, or a different station. It's like, you know what? The legit complaint is like DVRs that go to schedule it, like if they're not going to be home, and it won't pick it up if it changes channels, something like that. That's a legit complaint. But as far as just like, oh, I don't get that station, God damn it, and like, well, you know what? Get the station. I don't know what to tell you, people. It's like, I'm tired of hearing that oh, it's on a station I don't have that, I don't have this. Well, get it. If you want to watch the games, get it. I mean, it's out there. Yeah. It's available. Get it. You can watch any game you want. Get it.
There are ways to get every single game. I hate to say it because I get the blackout restrictions fucking suck. But like, to just sit on social media and bitch about it every time it happens, you have the opportunity to fix that yourself. Just fix it.
It's like, if you're older, back in the day, half the games were on TV anywhere, so you couldn't watch them anyway. Now they're all available on TV, and you got to pay to watch them. But you know what? Suck it up. If you want to watch them,
get a second job.
Not everything's for free. You got to. I don't know. I was on that boat for a while about, oh, it's annoying, it changes stations, but you know what? It's on TV. It's out there. Yeah. I mean, all of them are.
Yep.
I agree. I don't know.
And Kyle Beaver in the chat, blackouts are ridiculous. I agree.
Blackouts
this time and day, it's ridiculous that we still have that. But I do think to sit and bitch as much as people do, come on.
Yeah, Hotard says NHL needs to look at what the MLS is doing and take note. I kind of agree with that. But I wouldn't say Apple TV is the way to go, but I like what they're doing. No blackouts, subscription service. You can share it with some friends and make it super cheap if you want, like what we're doing. So
did you guys get to watch the Pujols?
I did. Well, it was free.
700th homer.
It was free.
They made it that game they made free.
I had a prior engagement that I could not get out of, and I actually was going to try to, but I couldn't. Because I was like, if there's going to be a game, because he had 3 home runs that game, 2 or 3.
He had two that game. He had 2. One to tie, one to.
And I even said, I was like, watch, not because we're gone, but because the game's on Apple TV. This is where he's going to hit 700. And it's going to piss everyone off.
That was a shame. I actually like Apple TV's presentation for baseball games. Their on-screen graphics are fantastic. I think their graphics for MLS, I don't know what they're doing. They leave a lot to be desired, but whatever. But baseball is great.
I like their coverage.
Oh no, the coverage is fine.
The coverage, but
not the Fox
score bug.
Score bug. Yeah, the score bug is like, it's like
very basic.
Looks default. Looks like a default Courier New font. It's like, what are you doing? So, but I do like the idea of no blackouts and having a subscription service for the NHL. That'd be great. Let's do it.
So we've got Matt Harris in the chat saying, I just don't understand the blackout policy now. You are losing more money in potential ad revenue than you'd be making with the current ticketing policy. Ridiculous. I agree, but the problem is they want the money up front, and that's why they sign these TV contracts. Because they get all that money, and it's like, oh my God, we have so much money now. Whereas if you did it the way like we want them to, they're not getting that money up front. They're not seeing the money they're going to get. They want the guaranteed thing. And that's why they still do it this way. I do think they will eventually change. But right now, it's still all about the TV contracts. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. So we'll start. Austin made a joke before the show that we need to start calling this segment the Rapid Fire Pride Night tidbits from around the NHL, because it seems like that's all we talk about with this anymore.
Yep.
Unfortunately. So NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman says the league will evaluate its Pride Nights in the offseason after several players have refused to wear Pride-themed jerseys this season. He says, quote, "This is the first time we've experienced that, and I think it's something that we're going to have to evaluate in the offseason." This is what Bettman told CTV News on Monday in Ottawa. A handful of players have objected to participating in pregame warmups that include Pride-themed jerseys in recent weeks, citing their religious beliefs. Pride Nights have been held annually by several NHL teams for years. Bettman said the league has been, quote, aggressive and supportive in the profile and platforms it's been consistently using for Pride Nights. He says, quote, this is one issue where players, for a variety of reasons, may not feel comfortable wearing the uniform as a form of endorsement, but I think that it's become more of a distraction now because the substance of what our teams and we have been doing and stand for is really being pushed to the side for what is a handful of players basically have made personal decisions, and you have to respect that as well. I was with you, Gary, until that very last statement. You have to respect that as well. I'm sorry. I don't respect that.
We talked about this last week about how the NHL is going to have to revisit this and do something about it differently because they can't keep doing this. They can't keep with players, speaking out. It's bad PR. It makes the league look stupid. It makes, you get players being called all kinds of names, bigots, because, you act like one, you get called one. So the league doesn't want that, and they got to revisit it. And you saw this coming a mile away, I think.
Yeah, you called it last week. You said pretty much verbatim, the NHL is going to revisit this in the offseason.
They have to. They can't keep doing this. This is a bad. It looks bad. It's embarrassing. It's stupid. The whole team is participating or wants to, except for one player, and all the focus is on that one player and not the rest of the team that's actually participating. And it's just a bad look.
Matt Harris, a total sidetrack here, but I think, Austin, you were the one that showed this. When is LGB Radio going to have their annual Pride Night episode?
Good idea.
I'm guessing that's a joke, but Matt, seriously, if there's something you have in mind, I would love to do something like that.
I've already got the lights behind me. I got rainbowish kind of things going on.
No, if you seriously, Matt, let's talk off air.
Yeah.
Let's talk off air, Matt. I'd love to do something like that. That'd be fun.
It's orange.
No, it's not. It's salmon.
Which is orange.
Salmon's more pink.
That's true.
Well, anyway, I've spoken to this ad nauseum. I don't know what else we can say here. Kurt, I missed the part that you guys talked about this, but yeah, I agree with you. Apparently, I agree with you that this had to be addressed. It's the fact that it's taken. The thing that's taking the media spotlight is not anymore, hey, this team had a Pride Night. How great is that? Hockey's for everyone. Now it's, well, teams aren't really doing the Pride Night because they're not doing the themed jerseys.
The jersey's only a part of it too, which is it's sad that there are other ththings that are being done, but the jerseys are like the most visual thing to the rest of the hockey community that's not at the game necessarily. You can see they'll show video clips of the team in warmups wearing the jerseys. So that's and I really it would be nice if like Bill suggested the NHL just give like exemptions to Russian players who are doing this because of possible fear of persecution because of that law in Russia. That's I guess, but even though recently though that they said there's no legit concern for that, it's kind of like a manufactured thing.
There is legit concern.
No, they said there's no proof of any. I mean, now there might be concern that what could happen, but they came out and said that there's no proof that anything has been said or done.
People still have families in Russia.
I understand, but I'm saying that nothing has been. There's no inclination that anyone's in danger because of it. That's what
I know, and they're not going to come out. Russia's not going to come out and say that there is an issue.
I'm not.
If you do it.
But it's the threat of persecution,
right?
Yes.
But
even it's all it has to do. All it has to be is perceived by a Russian player that they could be subject to persecution. I'm not going to say that James Reimer is going to be subject to persecution by his church, and if he is, well, what good is your church?
He should already be subject to persecution because he's picking and choosing, and he doesn't, follow the letter of the law with his church anyway. So,
right. Anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But for
I'm thinking
people who are legitimately worried about persecution for participation, you give them a contractual out.
I agree. but I think that that people have used that as an excuse recently. Russians have, when there's been no threat of that per se. So,
I'm more concerned overall with James Reimer, the stalls, which, by the way,
Bullshit.
Mark who's a complete fucking
Eric.
liar.
He wore it the year before.
Eric.
He wore
you
it
clearly
when he was
wore
in
one
Montreal.
before, bro.
Yeah. They showed that video clip of him denying it, and then right after they cut to him taking warm-ups.
That
with the jersey on.
Right there, winning unlimited. Why are they worried about Pride Night jerseys from their religion, but not a devil? That's a great example of it right there. I can't be traded to the New Jersey Devils because of religious problems with it. We've never heard that being a problem, but because it's a gay Pride Night and they have to wear colorful jerseys.
The episode of Seinfeld. This episode of Seinfeld when Putty paints his face for the Devils game. The Devils, right? And it gets in the face of the pastor or the preacher that's in the car, and freaks him out. That's funny. So that could be like a mashup clip with this whole subject. Good stuff.
Yeah, have Putty in a Pride jersey.
That's a good point though with the Devils. There's no outrage about that. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Damn, winning unlimited, bringing the insight here.
It's an interesting little talking point.
Well, and you've talked, Kurt, about premarital sex. I mean, we don't know for sure if James Reimer, for example, has ever had premarital sex, but let's just say a lot of us have.
Well, Provorov used the same Russian Orthodox, excuse, and he's living with his girlfriend. So, I'm sure that they're just not, close friends.
Oh no, there's separate bedrooms.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. 2 beds in the same room at most, right? Yeah.
At most, they hold hands when they're watching TV.
Yeah, just over the clothes stuff. Just over the clothes stuff.
Yeah.
Does hand stuff count? I
feel like that's something I might have asked my mom when I was like 15.
I want to
Does hand stuff count, Mom?
I want to talk to a Russian Orthodox expert if hand stuff counts. And can it be someone else's hand? I mean, does it make a difference? Yours or someone else's?
What's that called? The Dutch rudder.
The Dutch rudder.
Phil knows what I'm talking about.
Zach and Mary make a porno. My words are failing me at this late hour.
Yeah, I think it's called the Dutch rudder. All right, that's enough.
We should just call that future segments the hypocrisy segments.
Yeah, agree.
Hypocrisy and ridiculousness, and change it from rapid fire tidbits to hypocrisy and ridiculousness.
Matt Harris, Kurt, does hand stuff count price? There's your new nickname.
That's a blast from the past. That's the question I always ask the parents of girls I go out with the first time. Does hand stuff count?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we'll talk about the Nashville Predators here in a minute. The Nashville Predators have erected its first statue outside of Bridgestone Arena. Pekka Rinne. Not really a surprise there.
That's quick statue erection.
I like it. I like that they did it right away. I think that's cool. So the Predators unveiled
better.
Yeah, banner would have been better.
Yeah, right. The Predators unveiled an 11-foot, 5-inch bronze statue of the former goalie, a 900-pound likeness that captured Rinne with his mask off, raising his stick in tribute to the fans. It was modeled on a pose Rinne struck after his last game when he recorded his 60th NHL shutout, making 30 saves in a 5-0 win against the Carolina Hurricanes on May 10th, 2021. So talking about how quick it was to get this done. This was a model after his last game. So was it like that night? Like, hey, get to work on this, guys.
It'd been funny if the statue would have been him standing on the ice looking up at a banner that's being raised.
Well, he's never had to do that because they've never raised a Stanley Cup banner.
No, but they've raised banners with him there. That they raised
Have they, though?
Yeah, they raised
They
had
like
a ceremony. Yes,
they had a ceremony for all their winners.
That was
Yes.
the winning the
The
Western Conference
yeah.
and going to the final, and they had a banner raising ceremony for that.
Oh my!
That's
God.
what the whole thing comes from. You didn't know that?
I guess I just blocked it out of my head
Well,
that they were actually having ceremonies.
I'm not sure how much of a ceremony it was, but they did raise it before the first home game of the season next season, with the team watching it. So that's like a ceremony.
Oh, man, I
should look it up.
That blows my mind.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Jeez.
You lose your train of thought.
But either way, yeah,
Just
this is blowing
words.
my mind. Yeah. No. I will admit, and I think I've even said this on the show. He was a Blues killer, but I always appreciated Pecorine. I loved his goalie style. Just an awesome dude to watch in net. I had a young goalie that when I was coaching, and I told him, like, hey, next time the Blues play the Nashville Predators, watch Pecorine. You will learn everything you need from that guy. Just loved the way he played the game. And honestly, at the time when he was playing, one of my favorite players in the NHL. Hated playing against him, but loved watching him otherwise.
Yeah, no, I kind of teased that I was going to break down a little bit of Thatcher Demko's game. Demko is such a dedicated, he's just dedicated to the theoretical style that you should play. When we were watching him last night, and I was just amazed, how quickly he was going, into the reverse VH while the puck's still just along the boards, right? Nothing's coming at the net. Pecorine, was the kind of goalie who ad-libbed a lot, nowhere near what Dominik Hasek did, right? That guy was a freak. Pecorine was, just a lot more controlled about it, but so big and used his size to his advantage, but didn't rely solely on technique, like I think Thatcher Demko's doing to his detriment at this point. For Nashville to honor Rene with the first real, they're not retiring. Do they retire? Did they retire? Are they going to retire his number?
Rene, yeah, I think they did.
But with the statue, he, if anybody in the history of that franchise deserves it, it's him.
Yeah.
Right.
I would argue Shea Weber maybe as well.
Yeah, if he doesn't go to Montreal, I think so.
Yeah.
Right. If he rides out of town, retires as a member of the Preds, but he went to Montreal and was part of a cup winning or a cup bound team. They lost.
Okay.
There's a statue for those watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't look much like him in the face, but I think that's still a pretty awesome looking
I
statue.
think it looks okay.
I think it looks like Ronaldo.
Ugly Ronaldo.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Well, all right. We got anything else to add here, boys?
Nope.
Awesome.
What's in the pickleball folder?
Oh, you must have a.
It's a link to my ladder league standings in the browser.
Well, how are you
Quit
doing this
poking around in the image there, you freak. Peeping Tom.
Let's see. We got Matt MLO12 saying good on Pekka getting that and the statue, but man, if I was him, I wouldn't be happy about the statue.
I don't think it looks bad. I mean, it's. I saw that comment too in the chat.
I did not mean to show that one, but you know what? Why not? We'll pull it up. Matt Harris, the statue looks like Pecorine.
Really? I've that's a few people now that said they don't look at. I think it looks kind of like him. It doesn't look bad.
I wonder if people are just maybe upset that it's not like him making a miraculous save or something.
Well, the thing about goalies is that they look so cool. Making a cool save, and it's not that. So that's part of it, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
Did they retire his number?
Well, I'm pretty sure they did. I could be wrong on that. Yes, Austin Lynch. We're going to bring him on here. Austin says yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, they did.
Date and
I
time.
actually looked it up.
Who is the
Date
opponent?
and time? Hold on.
I had it up.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
July 13th.
July 13th.
Oh, no, that's when he retired.
Oh, no. February
Idiots.
25th of 2022.
Wait. That
No.
was my birthday.
Oh, okay.
They did it in your honor, Bill.
They did.
Did it for you.
Yep.
I did share the link too with the Predators raising the banner, the 3 banners at once. The Central Division, the Western Conference Champion, and the President's Trophy. Was it?
That's ridiculous.
So I raised them all at
Absolutely
once.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Did they?
well, the team was on the ice and everything.
They don't do ceremonies for that, right?
No.
They just raise them and by the
don't
time
think
you
so.
come in the next season, they're up.
Did they do President's Trophy?
They did President's
They might have did
Trophy.
President's Trophy.
Oh
Yeah.
God, what after that playoff run? Oof. No.
They have not done division championships though.
Yeah, because that's just ridiculous.
So
All right. Anything else, boys?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I agree. We're just at 2 hours on this show, so let's close her up. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Visit strikewithmike.com today for all your home buying and selling needs. That's strikewithmike.com. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. Excuse me.
easy of you to say.
Yeah. That will wrap up episode 30 of season 11 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. For Kurt Price, Bill Day, and producer Austin, I'm Jeff Ponder. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Let's go Cardinals. City, city, city. Caw-caw.
Let's go beer.
Oh, Jesus. She says
Thanks,
it way
Amy.
better.
Oh, bonsoir, Canada.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Austin?
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
You thought I was going to say